All right, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us this afternoon for our town hall on COVID-19 surveillance testing for our Return to Learn Phase 2 testing program. So I'm just going to go over our purpose for today. So for today's meeting, the purpose is to further explain the process for surveillance testing as part of the extended mitigation efforts for the APS reopening model for Return to Learn. I'm also going to go over a roadmap for surveillance testing, an overview of what it is and how we report, and then a takeaway. So APS is providing additional steps to ensure the health and safety of our students and staff. So we'll cover this information today. So to start off with, in all of our town halls, when we have been addressing the Return to Learn, we've talked about how APS is protecting our people, right? So with air, water, building and buses, as well as people. So today we'll focus on the green column under people. And so surveillance testing, what is it? COVID-19 surveillance testing is a non-diagnostic test that detects the presence of COVID-19, even in individuals who may be asymptomatic. And what are the benefits? The benefits of testing include early detection of positive individuals to limit the spread of COVID-19 in our schools and buildings, as well as rapid results and notifications for impacted individuals within 24 hours of testing. This also allows for parents and staff to make informed decisions regarding healthcare and taking the needed precautions prior to coming to work or school. Where will it take place? Well, the testing will take place right here at Continental Colony. District staff will be tested at their respective sites as well, but our testing will take place for students and staff right here at Continental Colony. Is this test mandatory? No, it is not. It's not mandatory, and consent is actually required for both students and staff. And I'll show you in just a minute an electronic permission form for in-person students to receive testing. We sent home a notification. Well, we're sending home the notification paperwork tomorrow, but on this PowerPoint, I'll show you at the end a link that you can go to for consent or say no, you don't want your student tested. And we'll also post that link in Class Dojo. And so we will begin testing next week for our students. And there's also a Spanish version of that consent form as well. Who will participate? Students and staff will be offered the opportunity for participation in surveillance testing. Staff will provide consent when tested, and it will be voluntary. So all of this is not mandatory. You do need to sign consent for any testing for your child, and staff will need to sign consent for themselves to get tested as well. When will testing start? As I stated before, testing for elementary schools has already begun, but for Continental Colony, we will begin Tuesday, February 16th. So the agency that has partnered with Atlanta Public Schools is called Viral Solutions, and it was founded by an Atlanta-based emergency physician and physician assistant to help find a way to resolve the current COVID-19 testing crisis in Georgia. And so, as I stated before, you do have to provide consent for us to do this testing. We will not test your child if you have not signed and said that this testing can take place. So on the screen, there's a link for the student consent as well as the staff consent. We will post these in Class Dojo, and you will receive a hard copy with your child tomorrow when they come home. So all you have to do is go to the link, and there you will find the consent form. There's also a notice of privacy practice of Viral Solutions that will be on the bottom of that form as well. So there's a link to the English and Spanish version. So once again, once you go to that link, you can read through the consent form as well as the privacy notice to give consent. And we're only taking that consent electronically. So we will send home a hard copy tomorrow just so you can have that on hand. But if you can please, if you want your child to participate, if you can please complete the consent form. So I'm just going to go over a few questions that you may be wondering from this information. Why is the district testing students and staff? So surveillance testing can provide an additional layer of safety in our schools. So the goals are to give families data about district-specific transmission rates, to identify potential cases of COVID-19 in the school, particularly among people who are not showing symptoms. Asymptomatic people can spread COVID-19 without realizing that they are positive. Another goal is to decrease the overall community rates by alerting students or staff who need to be quarantined. The families of the students who receive a clinical significant finding would also be able to take steps to reduce the spread. And lastly, in other districts that have used surveillance testing, it has allowed for consistent in-person learning. With testing in place, does that mean students won't have to wear masks? Masks and other mitigation strategies such as social distancing, sanitizing, hand washing will be required when schools are open for in-person. Schools will be clean throughout the day with the focus on high-touch areas, so students will still be required to wear masks. Students or staff who are positive for COVID-19, students or staff who are experiencing COVID-19 symptoms, and students or staff who have been in contact with a person who was positive for COVID-19 will still be temporarily excluded from the school based on the Georgia Department of Public Education guidelines. This test is just an additional layer of mitigation for staff and students. It should not change anyone's safety practices in our school. So we're still doing those same safety practices that we have been going over. It's just another layer of safety protocol. Will students lose a lot of instructional time for testing? No, the average time to complete a test is about 1 minute. Medical staff will travel from classroom to classroom, retrieve students who have submitted the consent form, and administer the test via a cart. Once a student has been administered the test, they will be allowed to return to class. In the event that a positive test result is received, the school nurse will be contacted and the student will be escorted to the care room until a parent or guardian arrives to retrieve them. Students will then be referred for confirmatory PCR test administration. Is surveillance testing available to students or staff who are not returning in person? These tests are not available to families or who are participating in remote learning or staff who are currently teleworking. While surveillance testing is not an option, students and staff are encouraged to take advantage of our other testing options available via our school-based health centers, core and district-wide drive-up and walk-up sites at Douglas High School. So if you are not a face-to-face student or a face-to-face staff member, surveillance testing is not for you. When will the school or district be informed of someone's results? So the administration will be informed of results if someone had a positive result and was at the school during their infectious period. This is true for surveillance testing and all other COVID-19 testing and is part of the standard to contact tracing. Principals and school nurses will receive a daily report of test results from Viral Solutions. If a student is sent home due to a positive test, must all their siblings, household members be sent home as well? Yes. If one household member is being evaluated for COVID-19, the rest of the household must be quarantined until an alternative diagnosis is made or negative results received. And so this image on the screen just goes over the tracking, how we track COVID-19 cases within APS. So step one is the report. In the event that a student, staff, or person receives a positive result, they notify the school or workplace. So all of those people that are in face-to-face students as well as face-to-face staff should report if they have received a positive test result or if they have been exposed to someone who has received a positive test result. Step two is to trace. So upon receipt of the reported positive COVID-19 case at an APS school, we work directly with our local boards of health as they conduct contact tracing. And then step three, we notify and inform. So based on the guidance provided by the local Board of Health and our APS Health Service Department, notifications are sent to impacted staff, students, and families. And then step four, if an individual is found to have close contact while contagious, those who were in close contact will be required to quarantine for 14 days. All right, we're going to take any questions that you may have at this time. Mr. Gomillion, do you see any questions in the chat?
No, I don't see any questions at this time. No.
So if you have any questions at this time, if you can please place them in the chat, I'll give you a few minutes. All right, well, I don't see any questions, but if you think of some as I go through these reminders, please do not hesitate to put them in the chat. Or of course, you can call the school at 404-802-1000. So just a few reminders as we move into February and March. We are having our awards day next Friday. So on the screen, you'll see each grade level's awards day ceremony time, as well as their meeting code, password, and the link for their awards day. This flyer can also be found in Class Dojo. So if you can't write pretty quick from what's on the screen, you can check Class Dojo. It can be found there as well. So next Friday, come out to support our boys and girls as they receive their first semester awards. So we are presenting students with our classic awards, AB Honor Roll, A Honor Roll, Principal's Award, all of those awards, as well as a few virtual awards. Also, there's a reminder that we are on our traditional schedule from 8:00 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. This is for virtual as well as face-to-face students. The only or virtual students that do not participate in this schedule are pre-K students who are virtual. Everyone else, kindergarten through 5th grade, we are on an 8 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. I'm sorry, that should say p.m. schedule. So please, please, please make sure your boys and girls, you can log in by 7:45 so they can, troubleshoot any kind of technology issues they are having. Make sure your child is there at 8:00 and stays throughout the day until 2:30. They do get a few breaks in between, and the teacher will communicate that to them, as well as a lunch break. They are attending specials in their regular homeroom class, so you no longer have to go to the specials landing page. They just stay in homeroom and the specials teachers come to them. So please make sure your student is engaged throughout the day. We do see a drop off at the end of the day where students are dropping off or they're not as focused. So I know it is a long day in this situation that we're in when you're sitting in front of the computer for that long, but I can assure you the teachers are giving breaks, but we do need students to engage throughout the entire day so they will be successful on their asynchronous playlist. So again, on Wednesdays, it's not a day off, it's a day on where students are working on their playlist. So each Wednesday, students should complete their content playlist as well as any work assigned by the teacher. Students should also log into iReady for at least 30 minutes of iReady reading and math each Wednesday. They're really logging on to iReady each day, but Wednesday, they can even do longer if they have the time. Now, this last bullet is extremely important. The evidence of learning is due every Friday. This is the only way teachers can submit grades for your child. If he or she is not completing the weekly evidence of learning, the teacher cannot post that the student has mastered the given targets for the week. So we don't want them to go straight to the evidence of learning because I can assure you they'll have tons of questions if they go straight to the evidence of learning. So throughout the week, they should engage. You can see on the left-hand side of the screen, at the top, it tells you exactly what your child should be able to do by Friday. Then it says learn about it. These are videos they can watch if they're having trouble understanding. Or if they understand, it just gives them more information. So on Wednesday, they can go through those videos. The teachers have listed practice opportunities for each day. So then on Friday, after they've done all of the top portion, on Friday or Thursday even, they should be able to complete the evidence of learning. And again, this is the only way the teacher has a grade to submit to post for your student's grade. So if they're not completing the evidence of learning, that's a huge concern. So Wednesday is a great day to begin work on those things. And I've told students, start on Wednesday. So if you have questions, go ahead on Thursday and say, hey, Ms. Foster, or hey, Ms. Durham, I didn't understand when I was working on the playlist yesterday. Can you help me? And the teachers are more than willing to do that. So those are just a few reminders. And again, we'll revisit the chat to see if there's any questions. Mr. Gomillion, are there any questions in the chat?
No, ma'am, no questions.
All right, well, we thank those of you who have joined us this afternoon. This video is, if you joined late, this video is available on my YouTube channel, and Ms. Lee will also post the link to this video in the Class Dojo feed. So thank you so much for your time. And again, if you have any questions, you can reach us at 404-802-1000.